Hello everyone, welcome back. ShortNature here. In today's video, discuss Division 2's update for February, of course, the Year 2 update. This week's State of the Game details about everything's coming to this game. Of course, the Warlords of New York is the new expansion pass that's going to be set to release on March 3rd. It details everything about gear, stats, Aaron Keener, and the campaign story. But let's talk about what's happening with the prologue, what's going on with that, episode 3, kind of leading up to the Warlords of New York. And of course, some breakdowns, some changes that we're looking forward to see in Year 2. Remember to subscribe for more gaming content, hit the like button, and let's get started in today's video. So episode 3 was released a couple of weeks ago, and it's just only 2 missions along with 2 classify assignments for the Year 1 pass holders. You will get 2 classify assignments. And of course, there were some patch notes in there to kind of fix the game itself, and a new specialization called Firewall, a new type of new weapon and exotics that was introduced for episode 3. Firewall is the new specialization, which is like a flamethrower that, you know, maybe you can turn against the cleaners at this point. So that was it for episode 3. It wasn't so dramatic or anything like that. You did see Aaron Keener at the end, kind of like giving you a little taste of what he's becoming and what is his plans in the near future. That was basically it for episode 3, and we're waiting for March 3rd. March 3rd is when Warlords of New York is set to release. So the campaign and everything is basically based around Aaron Keener and 4 rogue agents, as you see on your screen. These are the 4 protagonists, antagonists that we're going to be seeing so far in Warlords of New York, and all of them are going to have like special ability and special tech we can have in our hands when we defeat these enemies. I don't know for Aaron Keener, I know for the other agents around him that when you defeat them, you would get their tech or something like that to try out itself. Now, and for example, like Theo is an experienced hacker. He's very hackable. He laid low for a very long time, and he does like little holograms or something like that. So you never know, we might have that tech ability where we can hologram ourselves for the enemies. They think we're standing there, but we're not really standing there. The campaign is based on us, agents. We're sending back to Lord Manhattan in response in a recent biological attack resulting in the death of numerous civilians and, of course, fellow agents. Your job will be hunt down Aaron Keener, who orchestrated the attack and who believe is planning to launch future attacks. Your mission is to stop Aaron Keener at all costs. So that is our main objective, is stop Aaron Keener. Aaron is the main guy that a lot of people was looking forward to since Division 1. He kind of went silence at the end of the final mission of Division 1, like the final campaign of that story. He kind of like ghosted us. He kind of went away, and people was very intrigued by his backstory and about him. There's a tons of YouTube videos about Aaron Keener and his backstory, why he went rogue, what was the purpose, what is his purpose of going rogue, and all that cool stuff. So there's a lot of interesting stories about Aaron Keener. You can definitely check out on YouTube. Just type in Division 1, Division 2, Aaron Keener, or just type in Aaron Keener, and there's a tons of YouTube videos kind of give you a bio about this guy so much. He just really intrigued the Division community a lot. It's like his story just caught us very much, and we thought that we're going to go against Aaron Keener in the Division 1 days with a lot of those DLCs and updates that they had. But of course, that was a very long time until this day. Warlords of New York is the final portion of us going against Aaron Keener and taking him down once and for all. But will that stop the whole outbreak and this whole thing that he's orchestrated, all these attacks and stuff? Will that officially stop everything? Probably not. There's always somebody at the other end of the tunnel that will continue Aaron Keener. He's basically like a follower. And as you can see with the 4 rogue agents, they tend to follow him a lot. And he's just that main guy that really just intrigue everybody, like I said. And I don't feel this is the end of the tunnel with Division. Of course, with their story, I don't feel like when we defeat Aaron Keener, I don't feel like this threat is going to end. Now, don't forget, the President Ellis is MIA himself, and I feel like when we defeat Aaron Keener, he might pop himself up sooner or later, further down the line. So, like I mentioned to like a couple of my friends, we were talking about this situation, like, will this really end the threat for Division 2 agents? And I don't think so. I think President Ellis is going to be another threat for us once we take down Aaron Keener. Now, there's some couple of changes coming into Division 2 that we should really get used to, and I feel like these changes are really good for year 2. We're going to have a new max level. Our level cap is going to be level 40 with the gear score at 515. So just make sure that you kind of boost yourself to level 30 pretty quickly. I think there's a way that you can boost yourself to level 30. And there's an intriguing thing about this when you kind of step yourself into New York, into Manhattan, that we're going to discuss once I kind of like give you guys more details and information. The map expansion is going to be Lower Manhattan. There's going to be 4 named zones. And we're going to have something called Fog War. Fog War is when you explore the map to identify points of interest and activities. So Fog War is something where when you go in there, you know, the activity will be at your level. It's not like, well, damn, I'm not at level, like for example, our max level is 40 and one of the missions is level 33, but you're at 31. You have to do side missions. The Fog War will help you explore the map and identify the points of interest and activities. Of course, with the wide range of open world activities as well as new secrets and collectibles to find. Meaning when you explore these Lower Manhattans without level restrictions. So there will be no level restrictions with the Fog War capability for year 2, which is really intriguing, which is really good, because that is something that, you know, is pain in the ass with some of these loot shooter games where you're trying to move on to the next activity, but you're not at that level. It's restricting you from doing those activity. Fog War will come into play and say, look, you can do those activity at whatever level you're capable of. So that's a good thing. It's an open world campaign, you know, just like an open world concept. Enemies are now scaled to your level, exploring Lower Manhattan without, like I said, without level restrictions. So that is pretty good for year 2 content holders. Like, you can definitely go at your own pace, at your own level. There are going to be 5 main missions along with 8 side missions. But the only intriguing thing about this is that the main missions and side missions are now linked together. In previous years with Division games, like Division 1, of course, Division 2, there were main missions and there were side missions. The side missions kind of help you level cap your player to whatever level so you can go into the main missions. But now the main missions and side missions are linked together, like they're going to be linked as stories. So basically all in total is about between level to 13 missions all together for Warlords of New York. Improved boss fight mechanics. A lot of people has been talking about the mechanics in this game. They're not really feeling it. And of course, unique skill mob rewards that we're going to talk about a little bit more in details at the end of the video. Now keep this in note. It says once you start your journey through the narrative campaign in Lower Manhattans, you will not be able to return to Washington, D.C. until the campaign is completed. So keep that in mind when you get Warlords of New York and you step foot in Manhattan. You are officially in Manhattan until you complete all your campaigns. Now, we did mention some familiar faces are returning back to Division 2 in Warlords of New York, Expansion Pass, Year 2, whatever you want to call it. And of course, Aaron Keener is the main guy that's making a return along with 4 other friends that he's bringing along. But of course, there's other agents on our side that's going to make a return. Of course, enemies too are going to make a return back to Expansion 2. And we're looking forward to, of course, Peacekeepers. Peacekeepers are civilian groups made up of battle-hardened survivors and former GTA members that are going to help fight alongside us, like the civilians that we see throughout Washington, D.C. Along with Agent Faye returns to join the fight, as well as Roy and Paul Rhodes are going to be making a return back into Division 2. And of course, Paul Rhodes is not really, let's just say that he's not really happy about the whole situation and how it is in Washington, D.C. because of no other Aaron Keener. Aaron Keener is that main guy that's just disrupting things in New York and Manhattan, and he's trying to take that thing that he's doing in New York and further it throughout the whole parts of the United States and maybe and further into other countries. So we need to stop Aaron Keener at his track before this dangerous thing that he's doing gets out of hand. Of course, the Cleaners and Rikers are making a return into Division 2, and of course, they're many more in details within the state of the game yesterday that I didn't really get to read, so I will make sure I make a separate video on that, about the archetypes of the cleaners and rikers. Of course, they gotten a little bit better since we left New York in a couple of years, and they has made some changes along with the agents that Aaron Keener has introduced to us. Of course, they're making those battle hardened enemies a little bit more tougher than the last place that we left them. So that should be something really interesting, what kind of archetypes we're going to get with the cleaners, and of course with the rikers. And not only that, the peacekeepers are going to have archetypes themselves. So that is something that we're going to be looking into, all the different characters, allies, and enemies that we're going to be facing against in year 2. Now, 2 things I won't be able to touch in this video, because in this video, I don't want this video to be too long and you guys get bored. This is just basically a breakdown of what we got so far from Ubisoft and their State of the Game live stream videos. So new skills are coming into year 2, and of course gear 2.0 is having some really big changes. Like I said, the new level is level 40, along with the gear score at 515. Gear sets and exotics are getting a big revamp, or a big overhaul, or whatever you want to call it nowadays, but people like to say overhaul. Mod slots has been redistributed, are now linked to a gear, slot mods, and more. Skill power changes. Skill tier is replacing skill power, but we're going to go more further details about those changes, along with skill progression. Skill progression meaning, not skill progression, seasonal progression, excuse me, along with battle pass. Battle pass are being introduced in Destiny 2, in Division 2 right now as we speak. Division 2 will soon launch seasonal progression for us players, meaning up to tier 1, tier 100, like you will see in other popular games like Call of Duty, Destiny 2, and of course Fortnite. You see a lot of these games nowadays are doing the seasonal progression system to reward those players who've been playing hours and hours of their game throughout the whole months of the year. So that is something that we're going to be diving into in the next couple of videos that I'm going to have this week. Everything leading up to the March 3rd release of the expansion Warlords of New York. If you'd like to see more Division 2 videos, let me know in the comment section down below. Share today's video, and remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notification on my next video. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.